So if you would be so kind as to sit up attentively, but without making yourself overly concerned with your position. And gently close your eyes, simply to begin to reduce the amount of sensory data that's being processed. And without struggle and without strain, gently begin to lengthen the depth of your inhalations and exhalations just slightly. Relax your abdomen. Relax your shoulders. And begin to allow all expression to fade from your face. Sit comfortably, being knowingly aware of being aware in this gathering of friends in the waking state. And feel what Swami Kripalu refers to as introversion, beginning to draw your attention, but not in a stretching of attention, a deeply restful attention. When you're ready, you can gently begin to open your eyes. Jai Bhagwan. Oftentimes, Sanskrit words get thrown around and they don't mean much because we don't know what they mean. Some of us in the room come from the lineage through Yogi Amrita Desai and his guru, Swami Sri Kripalananda, and we refer to him as Grandpa, Bapaji. And he encouraged all of us to meet each other with the phrase Jai Bhagwan, which means victory to Bhagwan. And, you know, sometimes there can be an allergic reaction to the word God. So, the big spirit. And as we look at sort of life currently, we can see that there's some bickering, I don't know amongst the gods, but certainly amongst their believers, devotees, followers, and disciples. They bicker. And sometimes they actually kill each other. You know, my God's bigger than your God. Well, this Jai Bhagwan, this Bhagwan is so big, so unlimitedly vast, limitless, that everybody is in and nobody is out. Whether you know it or not, believe it or not, like it or not, spit on it, turn your back on it, cuss it, blaspheme it, heresy, everybody is in. Nobody is out. And that includes the person sitting on your pillow. All right, so just as a kind of starting point, our time together this afternoon is a revelation. And in that spirit of revelation, I'm going to ask your indulgence and not to say anything about my past, I've just been invited to come, and okay, that's enough. You're here, I'm here. Because if I say something about how long I've been doing this, what titles, awards, the people I've met, it's very like you're going to start a story about me. And that story may not necessarily be accurate. And we're already living with enough inaccuracies. Why add any more? Okay? So if you're okay with that, I would deeply appreciate it. And so that you can be at ease with this rather unusual request, I want to put you at ease by saying, do not believe a word I say. How about that? This is a revelation. If you see it for yourself, I would highly encourage you to pay attention to that, if you see it for yourself. But what we're about this afternoon is not something that anybody, including myself, can teach you. Because everybody's in and nobody is out already. You are already that which you've been seeking. So how can I teach you that? But if you see it for yourself, there's a profound shift that's set in motion. Okay, everybody okay with that? Yes?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. So what I would like to do is to have us synchronize. I mean, there's as many personalities, in the room as there are bodies and, histories and all that kind of, Mishigas? You know the word Mishigas? Mishigas is Yiddish for craziness in the head. So each of us have, we brought some Mishigas with us, and the continuous chanting of Om it's a type of mind soap. So much so that in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, if you've heard of that, Patanjali says about meditating upon the meaning of Om, which you don't know, but that's all right. Meditating upon its meaning is an aid whereby all the obstacles are dissolved and simultaneously appears the inner self. That sounds pretty good, especially since this is a revelation. This inner self, Gaibs, that simple, that close. Some of our time will be refining and polishing a little of the that which has been collected over it, but simply enjoy taking a relaxed breath in, a long sound of Om, and leave room for because that's one of the syllables on the end, in a very relaxed way. This is actually a pranayama, a breathing technique. But you can be relaxed because you can't Om yourself into heaven. Om, 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 Om. You're going to, hyperventilate or something. You get a little dizzy. Okay. So it's just relaxed breath in, sound of Om, relaxed breath out. Okay? And I'm going to ask you to add one more small attentiveness. Simply notice where in your body you feel the vibrational impact from this sound of Om. And towards the end of things, we'll chant for a little bit, it won't go on forever. You'll hear my voice say, and now just the sound of And if that location of the vibratory sensation in your body changes, just notice it. You don't have to make it bigger. You don't have to, you're just noticing. Okay? Sounds pretty simple, yes? It is. It is. Okay? So once again, if you'd be so kind as to sit up attentively. Again, without making yourself overly concerned with your position. Beginning to feel once again what Babaji refers to as introversion, drawing your attention. And when it feels appropriate, please add the sound of your voice. Oh. Once again, sit comfortably, being knowingly aware of being aware in this gathering of friends in the waking state. And from this stillness, place your hand on your body where you felt the vibrational reverberation from the sound of Om. And if you noticed any change in that location when you changed to the sound of move your hand to that spot. And recognize from your own direct perception that you already have the capacity to feel and recognize the subtle movement of prana, the vital life force in your body. You can gently allow the hand to return to the knee or thigh into your lap. When you're ready, you can gently begin to open your eyes. This is important that you recognize from your own direct perception that you already have the capacity to feel and recognize the subtle movement of the vital life force in your body. And in that recognition, there is also a revelation of sorts. That which you are is the knowing presence that recognizes something moving in your body. These two things arise simultaneously. The inner self is revealed. To kind of create a foundation for us to have some pointing exercises and then put everything into motion in the second half of what we're doing, we need to have some agreements that we're all on the same page, at least intellectually. Because I said earlier, we've all brought our own beliefs and opinions and histories, memories, associations, likes and dislikes, and we need to come to some kind of an agreement very quickly so that we can move forward, because we only have a short period of time to be together this afternoon. So I want to ask you, where is the only place you actually exist? Anybody?
Right here.
Here and now, correct? Anybody not existing here now? Anybody? All right, well, that seems kind of obvious, right? Yeah. And when you walked into the room and you weren't really quite sure where you were going to sit, you didn't know if there would be somebody here you knew, you parted the curtains and you came in and you sort of looked at, and it seemed like what? When you walked in the room, it seemed like here and now, didn't it? Yes? And when you were driving and it went from the paved road and it says you go on the dirt road, it seemed like what? No, it was a bumpy ride, but it was another here and now, yes? And when you got up this morning, and I'm assuming you brushed your teeth, and you were brushing your teeth and you looked in the mirror, it seemed like what?
Here and now.
So now scan your entire life. Has it ever been anything other than here and now? Anybody? So if it's always here now, what's wrong with this? Until you think about it. Let's try that again. If it's always here and now, what's wrong with this?
Nothing.
Don't answer that in English. Listen, look, feel. What's wrong with this? Until you think about it. Now, just in case, one more time, 3 is supposed to be, what's wrong with this? Until you think about it. Now, we've just done that 3 times. Did you go to 3 different places each time? Or was it all the same place? You want to look again? What's wrong with this? Until you think about it. There's the 4th. Have you gone to 4 different places? Don't believe a word I say. Look for yourself. Yes? Did anybody go to a different place? Oh, 4 was a little different. I knew what was coming. That what you were thinking. I knew what that was going to be. Prior to thought, it's all the same space, isn't it? So it's no wonder that Patanjali, those of you who are familiar with yoga, says yoga is the not getting entangled in mental activity, as in thinking. So now you know for a fact, if it's always now, and now is, excuse me, I slipped into the future there. I had to come back. I was racing ahead. If it's always now, where is your past? It must be a thought or a feeling about something that's not happening now. Because now there's nothing wrong with this, is there? So if there's no past, there's no future. And if there's no past and future, that means time is a very handy concept, but your own experience reveals to you experientially it's just a concept. Just because we have these little mechanical devices doesn't mean that time is a reality. And that brings us to another agreement that we need to make so that we can kind of move forward, because, we used words oftentimes in kind of a common familiarity, and we don't really take the time to look at its meaning, okay? So I used the word reality. And reality would be something that's true. So real and true are interchangeable. What quality would something have to have in order to be real or true? Anybody?
Permanent.
What's that?
Permanent.
Permanent, or we could say in another way that I usually say, and I should say, anybody who's been, I would appreciate if you chuckle at the jokes you've heard before. But, let some other folks kind of, yes, permanent means unchanging. That makes sense? If it was real, how could something be real if it was here one moment, gone the next? We couldn't base anything in life on that. God knows it would just disappear. So it's unchanging. Anything else?
Universal. Timeless.
Time. Here come. I can. The reason they know this is because we've been together before. Let me help. In order to be real or true, it would have to be universal, unchanging, and timeless.
How is something unchanging?
How is something unchanging? Because it's not, nothing never changes. No thingness never changes. All things change. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your perceptions. But the knowing presence that recognizes what's wrong with this, that's why you go to the same place all the time. It doesn't change. That answer your question?
Something changes within it, though.
What? Your opinions, your belief?
You go to the bathroom. Something changes in the bathroom.
But do you actually change? That knowing presence that knows there's nothing wrong with this. So you have to hold on, keep that. This is good, because we're just getting started. And you're asking a very good question. What is it that doesn't change? That's why we start with the phrase Jai Bhagwan. We are recognizing the universal, unchanging, timeless nature that everybody is. And we are carrying around a belief system that chops it up. I'm over here, the world is out there. These people are good because they believe like me, and these people are infidels, rascals. And there you're back into a separation of duality. And it doesn't even come close to, where's the duality in that? So we have a couple of agreements that we want to build on and look into more deeply. Because if the only place you actually exist, that which is referred to as self-realization, enlightenment, nirvana, moksha, must be present on your pillow right now. Where else would it be? We've worked ourselves up into a fit trying to get someplace that's absolutely impossible. This is Buckaroo Banzai. Anybody remember that movie? Buckaroo Banzai says, no matter where you go, there you are. So we have to look so closely into what is present right this minute that it becomes a self-evident realization for that which is on your pillow. I can't make it appear. It's already the fact of the matter. It's so close, so ordinary, that it's the most overlooked aspect of your entire life. We keep, I'll get another book, I'll take another program. Well, thank you for coming here. I'm trying to put an end to all of that. So far, so good. Any good? Please say your name, brother.
Shamal.
Shamal. Okay, good. Any other questions? All right. So we have to look into this unchangingness. And Shamal is correct. Everything, including this body, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. This harmonium looks like it'll be here, but 75, 80, 100 years, I don't know, termites or, we've all been to ruins, that people built them as though, yeah, this is going to last. This will be with it. The pyramids, a trash pile. You know how much hubbub and to-do was created? Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But we want to investigate to see if there's that on which is on your pillow right now is a thing or not. Everybody ready? Yes? Okay. I hope so. I was glad because we want to zip along a little bit here so I can squish everything into the time allotted. So once again, if you would be so kind as to sit attentively, but not making yourself overly concerned with your position, and allow your hands to rest lightly on your knees or thighs, palms up. And if at any time during this little 6-7 minute experiment, you need to squiggle, wiggle, or scratch your nose, you notice how your nose feels a little funny, right? I've tried your ear, and it's sure enough, people. So if you need to scratch anything, feel free to go ahead and just give it a little scratch, and then as quickly as possible, come back to these very simple instructions, okay? So once again, gently close your eyes. And without struggle and without strain, once again, begin to simply lengthen the depth of your inhalations and exhalations just slightly. Relaxing your abdomen, relaxing your shoulders, and beginning to allow all expression to fade from your face. And to captivate your mental capacities, focus your attention at the center of the abdomen. All of your attention focused, center of the abdomen. And notice that there are now some subtle sensations around the center of the abdomen that a moment ago was not there, verifying a yogic physics that energy will follow attention. And begin to add a feeling visualization of having a small opening in the center of the abdomen, and that you're actually able to breathe in and out through that small opening in the center of the abdomen. And notice how when you've added the feeling visualization, it begins to amplify and magnify the sensations at the center of the abdomen. The same thing happens when you add your feeling visualization to past memories. It makes them appear as though they're real through this enhancement of energy. Again, feel any subtle sensations around the center of the abdomen, and notice how soft your breath is as it gently flows in and out. As you take your next breath in, draw the breath in through the center of the abdomen. Feel your attention begin to stretch up in the torso, the sensations rising up, and the breath exiting a small opening in the center of the chest. So the breathing pattern now, as you're drawing in the breath through the center of the abdomen, you're feeling your attention and the accompanying sensations rise up in the torso and exit a small opening in the center of the chest. Once again, notice any subtle sensations around the center of the abdomen, the center of the chest, and let your ears be completely captivated by the soft sound of your own breath as it gently flows in and out. As you take your next breath in, draw the breath in through the center of the abdomen, close off that opening. Allow the sensations to rise up in the torso, and now feel as though you can simply breathe in and out through the center of the chest. All of your attention focused at the center of the chest. Once again, notice any subtle sensations around the center of the chest and the soft rhythm of your breath. You're so attentive that you can actually recognize your breath is breathing you. Its own intelligence is setting the rhythm. As you take your next breath in, draw the breath in through the center of the chest, split the breath in two and let it radiate down the arms and exit small openings, one in the palm of each hand. So the breathing pattern now, as you're drawing the breath in through the center of the chest, you're feeling your attention and the accompanying sensations stream down the arms and exit small openings, one in the palm of each hand. Again, noticing any subtle sensations around the center of the chest, the arms, the palms, and again, the effortlessness of breath as it gently flows in and out. As you take your next breath in, draw the breath in through the center of the chest, close off that opening. Allow your attention to stream down the arms, pooling in the palms. Feel how your palms tingle. And now maintain the feeling visualization of being able to breathe in and out through the palms of the hands. All of your attention focused in the palms of the hands. And maintaining this feeling visualization of being able to breathe in and out through the palms of the hands, slowly, almost imperceptibly slow. Begin to allow the hands to lift up off the knees or thighs. Very slowly. And as they begin to lift up off the knees or thighs in that same slow, almost imperceptible motion, begin to rotate the forearms and the palms until the palms are facing one another. And when you find the palms facing one another without allowing them to touch, begin to bring the palms towards one another till you feel a slight magnetic polarity, a sensation between the palms. And when you first touch that edge, notice that. And see if you can ever so slightly pull the hands apart and together, just maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, right on that energetic edge. You're refining your sensitivity to a very specific attunement. And Swami Kripalu referred to this as the highest experience of yoga. Why would he say that? Notice that the activity of thought has ceased. And if there no thought, what is it that stops your hands from going any closer or any farther apart if you are not making any decisions about that? Be attentive. And actually experiment in such a way that you can also begin to feel the sensation on the front and the back of the hand as you press and pull the hands ever so slightly apart and together. We will use this little attunement in the second half of our time together. And now slowly and gently begin to allow the hands to float back into your lap, onto your knees or thighs. And notice the content of your mind. Notice the rhythm of your breath. In just a moment, I'm going to ask you to gently open your eyes. And as you do, leave a portion of yourself anchored in this recognizable stillness as you bring a portion of yourself back into the room as you gently begin to open your eyes. As you gently begin to open your eyes, do you feel how you don't want to open your eyes? It was just 6 minutes. That which you are is even closer. So as I was watching, it doesn't sound like this. Does anybody feel a little between the palms? Yes? Yes or no? Okay? It does. That's just, I'm being a little dramatic. Okay. When I said notice the rhythm of your breath, was anybody going, this is the most absurd, this is stupid, why I'm wasting my time here? If he's not looking, I'm sneaking out of here, I'm gone. Anybody breathing like that? How was your breath? Anybody? How was your breath? Still. Soft. Slow. Easy. What's that? Quiet. So it doesn't take a Zen master to recognize there's a specific breathing pattern for every physical, mental, emotional, and contemplative state, up to including the breathless state of samadhi. We're going to set the breathless state of samadhi over there. It's not today, okay? There's a specific breathing pattern for every physical, mental, emotional, and contemplative state. So if you want to change your physical, mental, emotional, and contemplative state, what do you change? And let me be very clear. The breathing pattern that you noticed associated with that, I don't want to open my eyes, are not two separate things. You know this intuitively. Like when you go to the movies, you pay your money, you get your popcorn, you get a soda, whatever you're going to do. You sit down, the trailer, the movie comes on, and about 15 minutes into it, it's usually some problem. A lady or a woman is going, there's no danger there. There's no bad guys. There's no monsters. There's no, it's an insurance issue. There's no danger. They're goofing on you with breath. Anybody old enough to remember Harry Met Sally? When I say it, usually men go, I saw that. What's he talking about? Not that anybody in here would ever, no. But I'm having whatever she's having, right? Okay. They're goofing on you with breath. So now you understand from your own direct experience that state of ease is it's not even intimate, it's an expression of the mental ease. So when I asked you to notice the content of your mind, did anybody have any thoughts like, did I lock the car? Where's my purse? Oh God, my purse. I gotta stop at Publix on the way home. I hope I don't forget. Did anybody have any thoughts when I said notice the content of your mind? Remember, we're moving together here, all right? So if you had a thought, let's hear about that. So if I'm hearing you honestly, there was no... Yes, sir. Please say your name.
When you did the
Chris.
When you did the magnetic thing, I actually tried to move my hands together and I couldn't. And that freaked me out for a millisecond.
Okay, but the place I'm wanting you to look the closest is right after you heard the phrase, notice the content of your mind. That's the only place. Minds change. I give you that. But when you heard the phrase, notice the content of your mind, did you notice any thought?
No, I don't remember you saying that.
All right, that's good. That's good. All right. So if I'm hearing everybody correctly, I said, notice the content of your mind, there was no thought.
Curiosity.
Tell me what happened. When I said, notice the content of your mind, what happened?
Curiosity, a leaning in, a sense of, ooh, let's do this.
Okay, so can I ask you a question about that? You heard, notice the content of your mind. Curiosity, a sense of leaning in.
No.
Or was it, notice the content of your mind. Well, there's a curiosity. Yeah, let's lean into this. Was it more like number 1 or number 2? All right, so you can see that there was a gap, a suspension between hearing the phrase, notice the content of your mind, and a thought appearing. Correct?
Yes.
That's all I care about. Keep your eye on the suspension. I don't care about mishigas. We're not interested in the mishigas. All right? Everybody clear on that? What the focal point is here? So if I'm hearing you correctly, when I said notice the content of your mind, there was no thoughts. When I said notice the content of your mind, did anybody see any things? Did you see your kitty?
Color.
What was that?
Color.
You saw color. Okay, can I ask you a question about that? So when I said notice the content of your mind, oh, it's like some colors. Or notice the content of your mind, and it was, oh, there's some color. Was it more like number 1 or number 2? So you also can see the suspension of mental activity, correct? So everybody, okay? Okay. So if I'm hearing you honestly, there was no thoughts and there were no things. When I said notice the content of your mind, did anybody know your age? No, that's a silly question, right? So if I'm hearing you honestly, no thoughts, no things, no age. When I said notice the content of your mind, did anybody know you were male or female? So if this is honest, no thoughts, no things, no age, no gender. Now go back into the rearview mirror of experience. And when I said notice the content of your mind, can you find your body? Anybody? I won't jump on you. I'll just ask the question again. I'll try not to get so activated in case that frightens you. So if I'm hearing you honestly, there was no thoughts, no things, no age, no gender, no body. Something must be reporting this to you, or how would you know it? So whatever it is that knows this, can you find any edges to it? Did it stop at the edge of your head? Bump on the walls here a little bit? hit the bushes, the Atlantic, the Gulf, whatever knows that there was no thoughts, no things, no age, no gender, no body, whatever knows that, can you find any edges to it? So am I hearing you honestly? No thoughts, no things, no age, no body, no edges. And the last question, when I said, notice the content of your mind, can you find you? This is a revelation, friends. Anybody? Say your name again, please.
Sarah.
Sarah.
I've been looking for this since I was 6.
Which this?
I'm not sure how to describe it. It's very bizarre.
No, it's very ordinary. What's bizarre is the things that we believe. And there's as many different beliefs in here as there are people. This is a commonality. And we have to look into that, because in order for this to be real or true, it has to be what?
Universal
Timeless.
and unchanging.
Unchanging.
All right, and we'll get to that in a minute. So if I'm hearing everybody in the room honestly, your direct perception of that which is on your pillow is no thoughts, no things, no age, no body, no gender, no edges, no you. Now, if I said, whatever this is, how big is it? How much does it weigh? What color is it? Does it have any mass? Where's its location? Through your own direct perception, you just recognize that which is no thoughts, no things, no age, no body, no gender, no edges, no you, no mass, no weight, no size, no color, no density, and no location. A non-thing. As in, what's wrong with this? It's the only unchanging, universal aspect of existence. Now we have to check that out. Do you think that anybody else has no thoughts, no things, no ways, no body, no gender, no edges, no you, no mass, no weight, no size, no color, no density, no location was any different than yours? How could it be? There was no them, there was no room, and there was no you. How could that be, right? Now we got to go a little farther, because we're still looking at universality and unchanged. What's the nearest bar room from here? Anybody? What? All right, well, just do you think that anybody in any bar room right now, do you think that there are no thoughts, no things, no weights, no body, no gender, no edges, no you, no mass, no weight, no size, no color, no density, no location is any different than yours? How what was that? Go ahead.
Oh, I almost said something silly. After enough beers, maybe. Sorry.
I was in a bar room, and I had a conversation with a person, and I said, you got 6 minutes, let's go. We went that, and when we came back, Vita said, he recognized that no, there is no difference. How about somebody in the 10 items lane at the supermarket? You're trying to get home and watch the news hour, and you just have like 3 items, and you don't have to count, but you know that person has at least 20 items in front of you, right? And it says no checks. And this person is fiddle-farting around with a checkbook and, drops the whole thing, can't find their ID, and you're ready to like sort of use your card as a bulldozer and just clear the aisle, right? Do you think that person has no thoughts, no things, no ways, no body, no gender, no edges, is any different than yours? All right, you really want to stretch?
Yeah, let's see.
How about a fundamentalist of any stripe that's planning to blow up innocent women and children? Is there no thoughts, no things, no ways, no body, no gender, no ways, no mass, no weight, no size, no color, no density, any different than yours? Jai Bhagwan. Victory to that which you are. Okay, let me see how we're doing here for time. I think we're doing okay. I want to restate what I said in the beginning, that this is a revelation. I cannot teach you this. You've seen something about the self that you are. You have to begin to nurture that. relative to all the mishigas that has shown up in your life, which is just really thoughts. So I want to do one small clarification, because usually in these circles, if somebody says, "Where is the problem?" and you just, they called on you, you don't know what else to say, and you say, "Mind." You're about 85%. You get an 85% rating there. But if somebody says, "Where is the problem?" and you're sharp, you go, "Ego." 95, 98%, right? Do you know that those people that look in here, neuroscientists, they've never found a mind. Do you know that? They found a lot of other areas, but they never found a mind. And they've never found an ego. Have you ever seen a brain map that says ego is right there? It's nice to see you having a good time. Mind is an activity. It's the activity of thought. Ego is an activity. It's a very specific way of thinking about yourself. Usually erroneous, but it's just a thought. Like, I'm angry. Really? Yeah? Oh. So as we move forward, we still need to go a little farther, because in this revelation, you could, with the old momentums, this guy is good. He can mesmerize us. He's goofy. This is like a party trick at New Age gatherings, that you do or something, But I will restate again what Swami Kripalu said about this particular technique. He said it's the highest experience of yoga. This is a guy that's unimaginable in terms of what he has done in the traditional sense of the word yoga sadhana. The Kundalini stuff that you will not see on the cover of Yoga Journal. And for him to say that, we have to look really deeply into this gift that Yogi Desai was teaching in America. He would go once a year to India. And he said, I'm teaching Americans. Can you give me something that would be helpful? And he gave this particular little exercise. Because it reveals how you can be engaged in action without mental activity. And actually, if you look closely enough at your own experience, you are engaged in all action prior to mental activity. The moment I say the word now, it's already the past, right? The self-talk is an afterthought. Most of it, I don't know. Anybody not bang your thumb with a hammer at some point in life? Or you're cutting vegetables and you cut yourself. Have you noticed that between banging your thumb, there's a big gap of time before you go, ow? The same way that I know that there is a gap neurologically between notice the content of your mind and what happens next. There is a direct immediacy of a revelation of mind's activity has not started, but everybody is now having an afterthought about that. Okay? So our endeavor to live a yogic life, in a sense, is how to live prior to mental activity. Because most mental activity is already colored by past remembrances and future hopes. Now, not everybody. So when somebody comes to you, we're looking at them, the marketplace, what can I get out of this person or what can I sell this person? what can I get from them, or what can they give me? As opposed to just being full, whole, and complete, as then, oh. And there is an appropriate response in life. That's why your hands only went and they didn't go. They just went. There was an attunement to the appropriateness, to the intelligence of prana that's beating your heart, that's blinking your eyes, that's pumping your lungs, that's circulating your blood. As a matter of fact, the body does very nicely without you. And a moment ago, you could not find you. So the next step that we want to take together is we have to see if this really is continuous, or did I just goof on you? All right? Does that make sense? Because we know it has to be unchanging, timeless. That means it doesn't wait. It's always available, right? And it's universal, everybody on the planet. So you up for that? Yes? So we're going to go through this exercise again, but this time I'm going to try to disturb you. You know, I'm not going to take your purse, so you can be all right with that. And I'm not going to throw any water on you, all right? But your job, your part in this investigation is to remain anchored in no thoughts, no things, no ways, no body, no gender, no essence, you, no mass, no weight, no size, no color, density, and no location, as best you can. That's pretty simple enough instructions. Yes? Yes? All right. So once again, if you'd make yourself attentive in your position, but not overly concerned, so that you're thinking about that more than the instructions. And once again, adjust your position so your hands are resting lightly on your knees or thighs, palms up. Once again, gently close the eyes, simply to begin to reduce the amount of data, sensory data that's being processed. As you gently lengthen the depth of your inhalations and exhalations just slightly, relax the abdomen, the shoulders, and once again, allowing all expression on your face to begin to fade away. Watch closely, because there's a yogic understanding of energy that will appear as you focus your attention at the center of the chest. All of your attention focused at the center of the chest. And notice how there are subtle sensations around the center of the chest. And begin to add the feeling visualization of being able to breathe in and out through a small opening in the center of the chest. And notice how the feeling visualization amplifies and magnifies this energetic impact. When you dwell on past experiences, you are actually feeding a feeling visualization. And no wonder it just overwhelms you with its energetics. Feel any subtle sensations around the center of the chest. And once again, let your ears be completely captivated by the soft sound of your own breath. As you take your next breath in, draw the breath in through the center of the chest. Split the breath in two and let it radiate down the arms. First pooling in the palms and then exiting small openings, one in the palm of each hand. Hey! Draw the breath in through the center of the chest, feeling the sensation stream down the arms. Exiting small openings, one in the palm of each hand. As you take your next breath in, draw the breath in through the center of the chest, close off that opening. the energy stream down the arms. And now feel as though you could simply breathe in and out through the small beads and up in the palms of the hands as you slowly allow them to rise up off your knees or thighs. Once again, gently beginning to rotate. Forearms in the palms so that the palms begin to face one another. And without allowing them to touch, hey! Begin to bring them together till you feel that slight energetic expression between the palms. Make that small back and forth motion that you've done before. And notice that the activity of thought has subsided and you're completely absorbed in this action prior to thought, which allows you to attune to the intelligence that stops your hands from coming any closer and going any farther apart. Slowly and gently, begin to allow the hands to float back down into your lap, onto your knees or thighs, and enjoy being knowingly aware, resting, no thoughts, no things, no age, no gender, no body, no edges, no you. That which you are is pure knowing. It's self-evident without relying on any object for verification. And when you're ready, you can gently begin to open your eyes. So how'd you do? We're having a good time. Yes, yes. Oh, this is obnoxious. This guy's obnoxious. How did you do? How did you do? When the first came, what happened? What happened? Anybody? Yeah. Did you feel something? Did you feel something jump up a little bit? Yes. All experience announces awareness. Something knew that something jumped up, right? Who or what knew that? And then what happened? After something jumped up, what happened? Is this what happened? So first of all was this, and you were aware of that, right? And then this happened, right? Yes? What did you do to make this happen?
Just breathe.
Nothing. Did you go, oh, I have to breathe? Or did it just, how is that possible? How is it possible to drop onto no thoughts, no things, no age, no body, no gender, no edge, no you, no mass, no weight, no size, no color, density, no location, without doing anything unless it's eternal presence? It's that close. It's closer than close. But most of us, when something jumps up, then we start some afterthoughts and some story. Right? And we get a little pissy, gripey, grumpy. And even if I'm, you say, what the hell, that's obnoxious. Okay, so you got 3 or 4 sentences of a paragraph going, and then you catch yourself, right? And then what happened? What happened? When you say you remember, did you go like, oh my God, I'm supposed to stay? Or did it just happen? You didn't do anything. Anything that we do creates the separation because it's operating by a belief system that I ain't it in the only place that you actually exist as it. And I use that phrase very loosely, it. Am I making sense? Am I describing your experience here? That's why I said this is a revelation. I can't teach you this. Nobody can. In the centuries that people have been yakking about this, somebody would have figured out a way, a little program, it'd be up on the internet. This is going on the internet. It's up on the internet, and they would have taught you this. But you have to see it for yourself. As a matter of fact, you have to be the seeing self. There's not another you goes, oh yeah, I see that I'm the seeing self. That's not what was in your experience. There were no other objects to know the seeing self, which reveals the essence of that which you are is the knowing, the seeing self, the ing, the seeing, the knowing, the being. That has no size, no shape, no form, no dimensions, no mass, no weight, no color, no location. This is, and look at your own experience. Don't believe me. You could not find an object referred to as you. Cripes. When was the last time you had that direct perception? Time. Yes, Susan.
I don't know if I should say this, but I just wanted to say that I just experienced after our second experience.
The second key, right?
Yeah, just this great sense of freedom, to be free of all that stuff, even if just for a minute. It was wonderful. Thank you.
The scriptures say, just one look. That's all it took was just one. There's a kiss in the song, but it has to be nurtured, because the momentums that we carry in our belief, you're already going back to me, right? Can you feel that?
Not so much.
Well, we've been together a couple of years. I'm reminded that, I don't know, some of you might remember Rajneesh, a colorful character. He says, enlightenment is always sudden and immediate. And he says, if it's not sudden and immediate, it's not because the nature of enlightenment is not sudden and immediate. It simply means that the activity of mind is winding down. So that's why we come together as friends on these kinds of occasions, so that we're all on the same frequency of the activity of mind winding down. And this becomes an energetic sangha. When I used to live at Kripalu, we had a film called, it was something, Man the Machine. They had two heart cells in a petri dish, boom, 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 boom. It was under a microscope. It looked big. Boom, 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 boom. And when they got close to each other, boom, 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 boom. And if we had two guitars here, and both guitar was tuned to, A440, and you plucked the string on this A4, and you brought it next to the other, no touch. The other string will start to vibrate. This is an energetic sangha where we're all on the same frequency. And that helps the revelation. If we were trying to do this, you by yourself in a disco, I don't know how you would be, it would be a different frequency. So that's the purpose of us coming together as friends, to begin to look closer into the only place you actually exist. Okay? So in the next session, we take another small step, because it's one thing to be anchored, or see yourself pop up and drop back down. You didn't do anything, sitting comfortably on your cushion. But a lot of folks use hatha yoga in a sense, and sometimes you can get into uncomfortableness in yoga positions, and in life you can get into a lot of uncomfortableness. So All experience announces awareness. So we're going to use movement, not necessarily, it's going to be so easy because we're going to change some of the physics about how we go into it, that what you want to begin to explore is how can I remain resting in what I've seen about the self, resting while engaged in activity, any activity. I mean, sometimes my friend Avram is here, sometimes we ask people at the Institute to go outside and rake leaves. Pick up sticks, move things around. How do you remain resting as this knowing presence while engaged in any activity? That's what transforms yoga into a way of life rather than an activity that you go to and you have to have a yoga mat. All right, so I think I'm just about at the end there of the first segment, and so I want everybody to have a chance to. What a wonderful facility! There's actually 2 bathrooms here. 3. Oh my God! It's like being in heaven. It's like three bathrooms. So, what's that? Oh yeah. Silly me. All right, so we'll be back together shortly, and we'll take the next step together. Okay.